Alright, so you want to make cool renders like this. First of all, just go to Blender and create a general project. Get rid of the default cube and everything. Add a plane, scale it up, something like that. Go to edit mode, select two of these edges, extrude them up, something like that. Maybe even a little more. Something like that should be good for now. We are gonna make a roof later on, but not now. Alright, so next up we gotta download the Blender Kit add-on. If I search Blender Kit, just go to the website blenderkit.com and just download this add-on by pressing here. Once it's downloaded, just install. Just go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and just press Install, and just navigate to wherever you downloaded it. Press Install and just click that check mark right there. So once that is installed, I'm just gonna go here to Blender Kit add-on. You're gonna see a new thing here. Just type in car and search filters. I'm just gonna search free first because I don't want to pay for this model. You can obviously get a paid one if you want. Just wait for it to load. If it just doesn't load for some reason, just press enter again, and press this I button right here. Alright, so now we have all these models. So I'm just going to go with this one because it's a vintage look, and that's exactly the car which I used for this one. Just drag it in and just click it, and it's going to appear in your scene. So now one thing you're going to notice is that the wheels are a little below the ground. So either you can move the ground low or you can move the car up. So I'm just going to move the car up a little bit. Go to side view, GZ, and a little bit up. Something like that should be good. Perfect. So just save your project, by the way. Okay. So now if I go and render this, first just change your render engine to cycles and GPU compute if you have a GPU. Just turn on denoise and set it to optics if you have an RTX graphic card. If you don't, then well, just don't use denoise because it's very slow. So you're gonna see it looks trash because we don't have any lighting. Just press this to turn it off. And by the way, a quick tip for you guys: if you go to preferences and make sure that inside your system only your graphic card is checked if you have a graphic card, because I realized that if I turn my CPU on as well, both of them are just go to 100% usage, and it often crashes. So I'm just turn on the graphic card, and that does the job just fine. So I'm just gonna add the lights now. So for that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a cube, scale it down a little bit, something like that, and just move it up, GZ. Go to the front view, go to edit mode, S and Z, something like that. Move it right here, scale it down, something like that, SZ, something like that should be good. So I'm going to move it back, X, something like that should be good. Cool. So now I'm going to just take this and I'm going to GY, move it here. I'm going to press Shift D and Y so I can duplicate it, something like that. And just press Shift R to repeat that action 2 more times. And there you have it. The lights are done. And I'm going to add the lights at the top as well. So I'm just going to be clicking this plane. And let's just pick one edge and just extrude it in the Y-axis, something like that. And there you have the, what do you call it? This the roof as well. I'm just going to duplicate one of them. Let me just go to the front view. Shift D, move it here. R90 to rotate 90 degrees. And just move it right here. S and X, just scale it up. Something like that. And move it up a little bit. GZ. In fact, I'm going to get rid of these. And I'm just going to duplicate both of them simultaneously. Shift D, Y a little bit. And Shift R, Shift R. Perfect. So our lighting setup is also done. Now if I go ahead and render this, you're going to see the material is not applied. The lighting material is not applied. So I'm just going to select one of these. I'm going to go to Materials menu. I'm going to create a new material, name it Light. And I'm going to go down to Emission, turn the emission to 1, and the emission strength to like something like, I don't know, 7, I guess. And now just select everything else, all the other light cubes, and select the one which you apply the material to at the last. And once you've done that, just press Ctrl L and link materials. Now it's going to apply all the materials to the same exact material to all the lights, right? You're going to see this car looks pretty sexy, and you're going to see the lighting is pretty cool, but we don't have any texture for the ground and the walls. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to polygon.com. I'm going to be using a free texture from here. although you can obviously pay for all these if you want. I'm just going to go to this free menu, free tab, and you can just pick anything you want. What I used was for the walls, I used this one. For the walls, I used this one. For the ground, I used this one. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Blender and just select this plane and just click. If you don't have the Polygon Material Converter installed, just go to just search Polygon Material Converter and just click the first link and just press down this download button right here. Once it's installed, you can just once it's downloaded, you can just install it the same way you did with the Blender kit. Just go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and install, and just navigate to wherever you want, wherever you have it downloaded. Press install add-on and just press that check mark right there. Perfect. So once you have that installed, you're going to see this new menu pop up, and just press this browse button right here and navigate to wherever you downloaded that texture. But if you haven't downloaded that already, just go to select any texture, and the resolution, I would suggest you to go with 3K, because anything above that is just a waste of resources in my opinion, because you can always tile these textures, although it depends on how strong of a computer you have. So the workflow is Metalness, that's fine. Just press free download and it's going to download that. So, and then I'm just going to just navigate to wherever you have that downloaded. I already do have it downloaded in assets, materials. I have this whole folder made in which I store all polygon textures, the free ones obviously. So I'm just going to go and find that metal floor, this one, and once you get to this, just press accept, and with this plane selected, load and apply material. Now if I go to my look diff mode, you're going to see all of it is going to have, my bad, all of it is going to have that material applied, but the bottom is what we care about. Oops, but the bottom is what we care about, and that has the material properly. So just press tab A, U, and then smart UV project. So it's going to UV project everything. It's going to UV unwrap everything for you guys. And the scale is way too high, so I'm just going to go to scale, and I don't know, like 10 is way too high. 5, I think that should be good. Maybe even like 3. Yeah, 3 should be fine. All right, but we don't want this material on the walls as well, right? So I'm just going to select, go to face select mode, select these walls, and then I'm just going to create a new material by pressing this plus button right here, and I'm just going to create a dummy material for now, and just press assign. I'm going to see only these two faces have that material, and with this material slot selected, I'm just going to go down to the Polygon Material Converter, and I'm going to be pressing this browse button again, and I'm going to be going back to my material folder, and I'm just going to go with that wall texture which you just downloaded, this one right here, and just press accept and press load and apply material. Now you're going to see it is applied, but it's way too big. So the scale, I'm going to set it to like 10, something like that. Might be good. Maybe even like 7, I think, or 8, I don't know. Okay, and now I'm just going to rotate this texture as well. So there are 2 ways of rotating this. Either you can go to the shading menu and you can change this rotation to 90 degrees, and that just works perfectly. Or another option which you have is that you can just go to edit mode, select both of these faces, go to UV editing, press A to select everything, and just press R at 90 to rotate to 90 degrees, and I'm going to see that same exact thing is going to happen. So both options are available for you guys. And once that is done, I'm just going to render it, and you're going to see it's going to look pretty good already. However, we do have some problems. I'm just going to highlight them in a second. But before that, let me just create a camera. Go to add camera, go inside your camera, go to view, lock camera to view, so that we can move the camera with our viewport, and just go to output properties and just set the resolution to whatever you want. I'm going to set it to 2100 because I want to render it. Actually, no, I'm going to render it at 1080. Yeah, that should be fine, because I want this to be the YouTube thumbnail as well, right? So I'm just going to render it, and now I'm just going to check off that. Now if I press Ctrl B, and if I just select this whole region, so only that's going to render. That's going to be helpful for us to visualize what's actually going to render, and it's also going to save some resources. So apart from that, I'm just going to go to camera, focal length, I'm just going to set it to 28 millimeters, because I want this shot to be something which is like taken from a camera, taken from a phone camera or something like that. Although you can obviously go higher if you want. Something like that should be good. Perfect. So apart from that, I think we are good to go. Just another light I think we need, or maybe we can just select all these lights, and we could probably move them up, but like, I don't know. How about we create another one? Shift D, and press press Y to lock it to the Y axis. Something like that should be good. Yeah, perfect. So one thing which you might notice is that this render looks pretty flat. And to fix that, I'm just going to go to render properties, go down to color management, and view transform must be filmic. If it's standard or anything else, it's going to look trash. Just make sure it's filmic, and this look, I'm going to set it to medium high contrast, or maybe even high contrast. So that it's going to look pretty good. But one problem which you're noticing right now is that this area is way too black, and we have a lot of shadows in this area, right? So to fix that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to be duplicating one of these lights. Let's just go back to our material menu, material preview mode, and just go press GZ, Shift D, G, and Z, and now rotate it 90 degrees in the Z axis and just move it something like that, so that we have an extra light source acting on our car from there. I'm just gonna help diffuse some of the shadows, but now it's way too much, so I'm gonna reduce, go to material menu, and I'm gonna be going to the surface, and I'm gonna be pressing this button right here to make it a separate material, so that if we change this, for example, it's not gonna affect the other materials as well, right? Just press that button, and emission strength, I'm gonna set it to like 3. I think that should be good. Perfect. So now we have our render, and you can just go ahead and post-process this as well. But I'm just gonna render it. So just go to the render menu. By the way, I'm just gonna go to this render, and let's see if everything is similar. It is, although this render is much sharper and much more vibrant. Why is that? I have no idea. Anyway, so I think we're good to go. Yeah, I think just center it. Perfect. Cool. So one thing which I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to go to render view, render properties, and I'm going to go down to the samples, and I'm going to be reducing the samples to something like 500, and that should be good. Then just go and render image. So I'm just going to wait for it to render, and just wait for it to render, and then we're going to be compositing this. We're going to be adding some glare right there, and hopefully it's going to look pretty good. Another thing which I forgot to mention was that you can probably change the number plate. You can change the text on the number plate. It's pretty simple. If I just minimize this, and if I go back to my viewport, you're going to see that if we just come here and select this text, press tab to go to edit mode, and it's just a normal text, right? So I just write Nafe, whatever, Nafe YT, something like that, I don't know. And then you can obviously position it properly as well. Cool. And I think that was the camera position. Okay, so if this render is almost complete, it obviously depends on the speed of the render. Obviously depends on your hardware, and the stronger computer you have, the faster it's going to render. So that's that. And once it's done, just don't save the image right now. Just cross it out. Go to compositing. Use nodes, and then I'm going to be first of all I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to be creating a viewer node. Press the viewer node, okay, and I'm going to be creating another node. Press Shift A to add. I'm going to be creating the glare node, right? So I'm going to be taking the image input, and I'm going to be plugging this in, and in this image input, image output is going to go out to the composite, and it's also going to go to this viewer. So you're going to see the glare is way too much, it's way too sharp. I'm going to move this. By the way, if it's too big, if the image is too big, press V to scale it down, and press not Control V, press Alt V to increase the size. And this looks ugly, so I'm just going to change it from streaks to fog glow, and the size I'm going to set it to, I don't know, 6, something like that. Should be pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back to layout, render. Do not press render image, just press view render, and instead of this render result, I'm going to go to the viewer node, and then you can see if you go to image, save as, and just save it wherever you want, YT car, save as image, and it's going to be good to go. You can obviously post-process this. You can obviously render it in Photoshop, edit it in Photoshop or something like that, but I'm not going to do that. So that's basically it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.